Yo, what is good, my anime faithful? What is good, yo? So, we have gotten past our little starting point of this show, and now we are getting more into the fact of our little demon girl becoming such a sweetheart, and not only that, becoming quite a bit of a hassle as well. So, we'll have to talk about all of it. Um, this week's episode definitely had the more of a feeling of she's coming into her own, like it definitely feels like there's a lot she learns on a day-to-day basis as of right now. So with that being said, it's nice to know that whenever, she keeps this up or when she keeps learning, it'll probably come in handy much further down the line when it comes down to just how many different you know how many different things she can learn. Not to mention she shows us that she already has some form of magic ability, like she can already use magic. So it just goes to show you that there's a lot of things she can already do without really being, I don't know, like necessarily told, I guess you can say. So because of that, it's a nice change of pace of her just randomly reaching out and finding something to try to help these kids this week. And once she finds it, it almost like completely drains her, dry because of doing the spell. So I don't know. I'm really interested in what this world could actually like do in the case of like going out and adventuring and stuff like that. See where that actually leads our characters, because at this point it feels like we're definitely going to see something like pretty crazy at maybe towards like the end or something, and or we're gonna see it sooner, because it feels like Dale has gotten to the point now where he just does not want to even leave her, for a short amount of time, seeing how the cook, Mr. Kenneth, sucks and can't even keep his eye on her, so it just goes to show you got to do it all yourself in this place, and that kind of sucks for Dale, but at the same time, he was getting jealous anyway for her having any attention span towards someone else, so I don't think he's going to be too mad about her having to stick by his side a lot more often, so just keep that in mind. He'll probably be a lot more happier that he's going to be taking her on trips and stuff like that to complete, just overall things he needs to do at the end of the day. So we'll see how that plays out in the everyday life now with him seeing that he can't really trust anybody else and he should just trust his own self when it comes down to taking care of Latina. So I don't know. It's getting interesting in the overall grand scheme though of just showing us what this world has in store. I mean, to be fair, we have some of the most like awesome people within this like adventurers bar, and to think that they were going to be this dope just kind of furthers my point as to why these shows have so much potential at times, that I just randomly find a show and there's, a lot already going for it. The people within the show are really awesome towards this chick. I mean, everybody in the store or everybody in this like pub is starting to, get to a point where they've seen her almost every single day since she's moved in there. So it's kind of getting to the point where if she's not there, it's, not the same. It's not what they, what they want supposedly. So it's really sweet of them to actually, care about their surroundings and the people who are within this place where they're just getting drunk and having fun pretty much and talking about ladies time to time. But at the same time, they still have some remote sense of, maybe they are dads or maybe they want kids of their own, and to see Dale, the most like supposedly best adventurer out of all of them that at least like goes out and gets stuff done, he's fallen victim to her, pretty easily in the case of doing everything she wants and she's breaking down crying, and he's doing his best just to stop her to cry. She literally just went through a lot and put everybody through a lot of worrying, but because she's crying, he can't really be strict on her. He can't really, you know what I mean? He can't do anything at this point besides try to stop her from crying and, beating herself up over the situation that accidentally happened. So, I don't know. It's definitely a parent's worst nightmare to know that their kid got separated from them, and then not only that, they then were separated for, hours upon hours till the nighttime came, type of deal. So yeah, that's pretty rough for this man. So he's gone through already a pretty scary situation with her, disappearing already now. So hopefully that changes and he understands now that he's got to keep even a closer eye on her than he previously thought. So all that being said, though, everything in this week's episode was pretty cool, though. I mean, we just have her literally gaining some friends. She healed somebody who got beat up because she couldn't speak well, and they kept getting on her case about it. Like, this little boy is gonna be like one of the best detectives ever, man. He's like, huh? He's like, so where are you from? He's like, he didn't get an answer. He's like, oh, that's kind of suspicious. Now you're speaking in a tongue that I don't understand. Everything about you is suspicious. Like he just wasn't gonna let her go. It was just harassment after the next. So yeah, I mean, I can see him or these kids at least playing some type of role of keeping her young and not doing everything the adults do. Because at this point, she's pretty much going to be an adult kid who just likes to clean, who likes to cook and stuff like that. So, I mean, there's nothing bad with it. I'm just saying, instead of her only knowing that that's fun or something like that, she could meet people her own age and see what they think is fun, and then, maybe even hang out with them. So, they're really definitely building up a world of just catered to this girl, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I honestly was pretty baffled by how much like everybody went out of their way to try to help this girl, including the fact that most of the people inside of the pub actually knew she was a demon. Like they knew she was demi-human, so not even that was a case to stop them from, like helping her out. So that I think that's another thing that kind of like made me feel, somewhat decent to watch these guys and, maybe even want to learn what's going on in the background with the people just in the bar overall. But I don't know. It was interesting to see them play this role and to literally have them helping out in a way that actually was, touching and stuff, and them all doing it in the case of trying to make Dale freaking owe them something. He's like, oh, well, yeah, if I go out here and I do this, he'll owe me. Like, well, that's their first thought, one of their thought process, but the very first guy to get up to go out and search for her is literally a person who states that if she's not here, my drinks won't taste the same. It won't be as good as they usually been, and that is clearly just his way of not saying, "Oh, I just want Dale to owe me one." He's not being like that, but it would help. Like for instance, he's the one who bumps into the kids who are actually bringing Latina back. So it proved to me that he didn't care about the reward, because as soon as he found out that some kids were doing it, he's like, oh well, they get the reward plus we found her, like she's safe. And so it just goes to show you that these guys are pretty awesome when it comes down to already being, fathers in law, or not in law, but fathers and godfathers and mothers and stuff like that. So very, very awesome part. Other than that, though, it really just kind of shows that in the opener there should be some type of adventure, right? There should be some type of action, unless they're just using the overall notion that, hey, because there's magic in this show, because there's those types of things, people are expecting to see that, and that's what the opener kind of does is meet their expectations. Because at this point in time, it doesn't look like he'll ever want to take her out of town, out into like unsafe areas. But at the same time, the show opening up with the person who was supposedly taking care of her and kind of telling her that rainbows are something that the gods like gave to us, or the gods are looking down at us and smiling upon us, so regardless of anything that happens to me, I will be in said rainbow, watching over you. And to hear that, and then to see how this episode plays out, and the overall grand scheme of him saying, like fate will always be on your side. Like whatever happens from here on out, you should be able to live a happy life. It all is like pretty much coming reality, coming to what everything he was recording him saying. And the sad part is we don't know why he ends up the way he does, right? We still don't know how or what got him in a situation like that to literally lose his life. So maybe that's something we'll learn. Maybe it's something we won't. I'm not sure how this story's playing out. It doesn't seem like something we'll learn necessarily. Only in the grand scheme of if Latina remembers, like if her memory comes back. I think that's the only way we could actually truly find out, right? Like the person who was actually a part of the events would have to know, and it doesn't really seem like she has that much of her memories left, including seeing the rainbow was the real thing that kind of triggered her, or like she had a dream and then seeing the rainbow triggered, the actual memory of that. So, um, I don't know. It feels like they're trying to tell us something while at the same time just being relaxing, chill, and all that stuff. And I think I have a little bit too many chill animes at this point. I have this one, I got the Dunbell one, and then even the Demon Lord retry show kind of doesn't feel like a traditional, oh my god, like everything's happening, there's so much story plot, this and that. It feels more like a go with the flow type of show as well. So, this seems like that's my type of just thing right now is go with the flow and relaxing type of shows as of right now. So I'm not even mad. It's just surprising that so many shows feel actually relaxing like this and whatnot. So I'm enjoying it. I hope you guys are as well. I don't know what all is going to drop this summer, but I know that there is a show that I still want to cover, and that is Dan Machi. And I think it's coming out on Tuesdays because episode 0 dropped on a Tuesday. So if it does, be prepared to get Dan Machi season 2, which is by far one of the most dopest shows I've been waiting to talk about for quite some time. So can't wait to do that. And with all that being said, though, I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, evening. I do have another show I did want to talk about. Um, I'm not sure how long I'll talk about the show. There is something that was like a glaring problem for me throughout it, and if it becomes a thing where I just don't want to make the video, I probably won't, unfortunately. But if you are subscribed here and watching all the videos, I do truly appreciate you, and I will try to get out as much content as I humanly can to you guys as soon as possible. So, with that being said, I will ultimately talk to you as soon as possible, and I am the Anime G, and I will talk to you soon. Peace. Bang.